How did the mother obtain a gun and why did she leave it unsecured in her home? This is the question that haunts many people who are shocked and saddened by the tragic incident of the 6-year-old shooter. According to the police, the mother had a valid license to own a firearm, which she obtained by filling out a form from the ATF, or the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives. She had to provide her personal information, such as name, address, place of birth, race and citizenship, and answer some questions about her criminal and mental health history. She also had to undergo a background check by the FBI, which scanned federal databases for any red flags that would disqualify her from owning a gun. The mother bought a handgun from a local gun store, where she passed the background check and paid the required fee. She said she wanted to have a gun for self-defense, as she lived in a high-crime area and felt unsafe. She also said she was familiar with gun safety rules and knew how to handle a firearm responsibly. However, her actions contradicted her words. Instead of storing her gun safely in a locked cabinet or gun safe, as recommended by experts and organizations like the NRA, she left it unsecured in her bedroom drawer, where her curious son could easily find it. She also failed to keep her gun unloaded when not in use, or to separate it from the ammunition, which are basic precautions to prevent accidental shootings. The mother claimed that she was busy and distracted by her work and personal problems, and that she forgot to lock up her gun or check on her son. She said she never thought he would touch her gun or know how to use it. She said she was sorry for what happened and wished she could take it back. But her apology and regret cannot undo the damage that her negligence and carelessness caused. Her son, who should have been playing with toys and learning new things, instead picked up a deadly weapon and fired it at his classmates, injuring 2 of them and traumatizing many more. He now faces serious legal consequences and psychological trauma that will affect him for the rest of his life. The mother's freedom to own a gun came at a high cost for her son's future. This is a tragic reminder that owning a gun is not only a right but also a responsibility. It requires proper education, training, storage and supervision to ensure that guns are used safely and legally. It also requires common sense and awareness of the potential risks and consequences of having a gun in the home, especially with children around. This is how the mother obtained a gun and why she left it unsecured in her home. How the mother and the son faced legal and social consequences after the shooting. The shooting at Rich Neck Elementary School shocked the nation and raised many questions about how a 6-year-old boy could obtain a gun and shoot his teacher in a classroom. The boy's mother, Deja Taylor, was arrested and charged with several federal and state crimes related to her possession and use of the firearm, as well as her neglect and endangerment of her son. The boy was taken into police custody and placed under a temporary detention order at a hospital, where he was evaluated for his mental health and disability. Taylor pleaded guilty to breaking federal law by using marijuana while owning a firearm and making false statements about drug use when she bought the gun. She admitted that her chronic use of marijuana affected her behavior and that she lied on a form when she purchased the gun from a store in Yorktown, Virginia. She also faced state charges of child neglect and abuse for allowing her son to access the weapon, which she claimed was stored on a top shelf of her bedroom closet with a trigger lock. However, investigators found evidence of marijuana and packaging for marijuana edibles in her trash bin and in her purse. Taylor's lawyer said that she was a loving mother who made a terrible mistake and that she was devastated by what happened. He also said that the boy had an acute disability that required one of his parents to be in class with him most of the time, but that day his father was unable to attend due to work. The lawyer argued that the boy did not understand the consequences of his actions and that he was influenced by violent video games and movies. The boy's teacher, Abigail Werner, survived the shooting but suffered serious injuries to her hand and chest. She underwent surgery and was released from the hospital after several days. She said that she forgave the boy and his mother and that she hoped they would get the help they needed. She also thanked the school staff, the police, and the community for their support and prayers. The school district faced criticism for its handling of the incident and its communication with parents and students. Some parents complained that they were not notified about the shooting until hours later and that they were not given enough information about what happened. Some students said that they were traumatized by the shooting and that they did not feel safe returning to school. The district offered counseling services to students and staff and hired additional security guards for the school. The shooting sparked a renewed debate over gun safety, school security, and mental health in America. Many people called for stricter gun laws, background checks, and education programs to prevent such tragedies from happening again. Others argued that guns were not the problem, but rather the lack of parental supervision, moral values, and mental health resources. Some also questioned whether marijuana legalization had contributed to the incident. The case of the 6-year-old shooter highlighted the complex and tragic consequences of gun violence in schools and society. It also showed how a mother's freedom cost her son's future.